Consider Reverend Al Sharpton's words during his eulogy of George Floyd. He said this: "You put us in, but you had your knee on our neck. We could run corporations and not hustle in the street, but you had your knee on our neck. We had creative skills. We could do whatever anybody else could do. But we couldn't get your knee off our neck." What happened to Floyd happens every day in this country, in education, in health services, and in every area of human and American life. It's time for us to stand in George's name and say, "Take your knee off our neck." When Reverend Sharpton described this system, he was describing a system that from the beginning was not designed for everyone. It was designed to suffocate some and promote others. And even when Black folks, realizing that they weren't welcome to breathe freely the same air as others, and formed thriving and self-sufficient societies. They formed thriving, predominantly African-American towns, but the knee to the neck and the pressure was applied through burning down of Rosewood, Florida in 1923, and the first bombs to ever be dropped on U.S. soil by our government to destroy the Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921. As a result, some 233 years later, we are dealing with a system that continues to leave some of us gasping for air, both literally and figuratively. Minorities continue to experience housing discrimination, educational inequalities, and disparities in medical care, as evidenced by the disproportionate effects of the coronavirus on the Black population, and of course, police brutality. Systemic racism is negatively impacting our entire country, and the United States is in need of cardiopulmonary resuscitation. It is time to breathe. And so how do we ensure that our airway passage is no longer obstructed? One, we just had our local elections and the primaries. I'm praying that you all went out to vote. You all made decisions about whom will represent you. And now, it is time to hold your elected officials accountable. You've got to hold them accountable. Get involved. Show up to city council meetings and let your voice be heard. And then assess for yourself whether fresh air is afforded to all in your community. Number two, Almost Heaven, West Virginia. The almost implies that there is still work to be done. You all are a little quiet out there. Now, Pastor prayed heaven down and y'all sitting there. Come on, talk back to me, somebody. It's very easy to become complacent in a town where the buildings are not burning and protesters are not lining the streets day in and day out. Oh, but Fayette County, some work to do. enforcement officers, we must commit to doing better. Racial slurs and expletives are never okay when dealing with the folks that you are sworn to protect and to serve. Commit to diversity training and the betterment of your officers. And residents, get a copy of the show of force and become familiar with the department's policy. And demand changes of portions that are outdated and flatly inhumane. And number 3, make a personal commitment to join the paradigm shift that is happening all over the globe. It is no longer enough to not be racist. It is no longer enough to say, well, I didn't do it. It's no longer enough to say, well, my ancestors didn't do it. It's no longer enough to say, I have one black friend. It's not enough. It's not enough. We are calling for you not to be not racist. We're calling on you to be anti-racist. This means that you call out racism and discrimination and injustices of all people every time you see it happen. I had to get some folks together real quick on Facebook today because I had time today. And while I'm here, let me address this. All lives do matter. It is true. However, if all of us were sitting in urgent care right now, and I'm the only one who is having an asthma attack and gasping for air, none of you would expect the medical staff to strap all of you with oxygen machines, right? None of you would expect that. You would expect for them in that moment to focus their attention on the one who imminently and visibly cannot breathe. So let me declare to you, I am tired of breathing at half capacity. Take your knee off our necks and